Stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Who's reading?
Who's reading?
Who's reading, Colin? I'll read.
Who's reading, Colin?
All right, information and proposals. Code of conduct. Okay, we're here today for a public hearing regarding a change to the academic probation eligibility portion of the Code of Conduct. The changes are expected to be voted on at the August 12th, 2015 Board of Education meeting.
So if I could just put a little discussion behind this. This was a presentation that we had at the July 1, but because we didn't declare it as a public hearing, we're meeting this morning so that it is on the official record as a public hearing. By law, any change to the Code of Conduct must be up for the public to view for a certain amount of time, and so that's what we will do. It's up already on our website. It's been up there for a number of days already since the last board meeting, and so Marissa will present this morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I am here as a representative for, speaking for I'm speaking on behalf of the shared decision-making team, Mr. Cervoni, Ms. McKenna, Mrs. Roberts, and Mrs. Beasley, Mr. Keene, and Mrs. Lauer about the academic probation and eligibility section of the Code of Conduct. What we have been examining is how our current eligibility policy has been working and if we've been successful in reducing the amount of kids that are ineligible and doing our due diligence of helping them to get off of this list. Currently, the list is comprised of any student that has 2 or more U's. They are placed on a probation list. We like to call it a watch list, and that list remains for 5 weeks, and then it's updated for every 5 weeks. Any student with 2 or more U's, they are allowed to practice if they have met with their teacher, but they are not allowed to participate in any contents, games, dances, bonfires, extracurricular activities.
Marissa, could I interrupt for
Yeah.
a minute? Because this was a point that confused me the last time, so let's just bring it up again.
Sure.
How do you get on the list to begin with?
What we do in Power School every 5 weeks is Dan has a setup with Power School, and they look at any student that is failing 2 or more subjects or is borderline failing in 2 or more subjects. And borderline is a 65 to a 69. Okay. And that list is generated every 5 weeks. Then what happens each Friday is a teacher goes in, they give you an S for satisfactory effort, they give you a U for unsatisfactory effort. It is not based on grade, and we do that for the purpose of, if you're a struggling student who maybe the 5-week mark, you had a 40 average. You may have done a lot of work that week and made great strides, stayed after, but realistically, you're gonna go from a 40 to probably a 52. But to that teacher, you worked your tail off, and I know you're in the right direction, so I'm giving you an S. We like to keep it as an effort grade for those reasons. It's the same reasons at the 3rd marking quarter, we don't give a student a 0. We don't give them the failing grade, we give them the grade so that they still have a chance in that 4th quarter. We've lost them completely. The weaknesses of our current policy is that the students that have only 1 U, they're not pushed to bring up those grades. We really only focus on the kids with 2 U's. Also, with losing, a couple years ago, we lost the advisement period. We don't have any avenue for the students to get help or improve their grades except for Learning Lab. And some students, their schedules are filled, they can't go to Learning Lab. They do, it is available during lunch, but it's not an avenue for all students. And the students that we find on that probation list, the watch list, we often find that they fluctuate 1 week. So 1 week they'll have 4 U's, they've busted their butt, they got down to 1 U, so they're eligible, and then all of a sudden they slip back down. The next week they're back to those 3 U's. So that's sort of the premise of why we looked at this. Our thing is, our solution for it is that we want to continue every 5 weeks, a new academic probation list will be created, but this time we want to put the students on the watch list that are failing one or more classes or that are borderline in those 2 classes. If they were placed on this academic probation list, and again, it's a watch list, sorry, this is what our new requirements would be. They got S's, they're fine. They can practice, they can do everything, they have no requirements. The students now with 1U, and this is the big difference, they will still be eligible to participate in school-sponsored activities, practices, games, concerts, dances, tractor day, as long as on Monday they attend learning lab or study hall with a lunch or teacher, and Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, this is our new one, they attend an academic enhancement program after school for 45 minutes that will be held in the cafeteria with a certified teacher and a monitor to do the paperwork part. It will be a working learning lab. It won't be here having fun. It will be kids at different tables raise their hand for help. We will have a certified teacher. My hope is that maybe another teacher might want to volunteer and come in because she knows she has a group of kids, or even better, she could pull that group of kids to her classroom. But if they have 1U for that week, they have to go to that before they go to practice.
And then they can go to.
Then they can go to practice, they can go to their game, they can go to dance, they can go to tractor day, same thing.
This is a voluntary position by a teacher?
No.
You just said maybe another teacher will volunteer.
Maybe another teacher would volunteer.
Another.
I've been working on this for a while and I finally found the money for it out of my budget, Jeffrey's budget, some collective gathering to pay a stipend position for an after-school teacher.
This is a 2-year venture.
It's a 2-year venture, but it's something I strongly believe in, so we wanted to make it work.
Okay, one more question. Okay, so this is all classes, or could it be, say, a senior, and don't take this wrong, but has a blow-off class they're taking and they're failing it? That still counts?
It's currently on our current policy, they would be academically ineligible. So yes, even that blow-off class that they are taking.
Because nobody wants to be the blow-off teacher.
Okay. Well, I'm just wondering.
No, I totally understand, but yes, it would be so. And again, the nice thing with our policy, unlike other districts, is we evaluate it every week. So, and I have had those students that all of a sudden 5 weeks and it comes around, now they're ineligible because it was a blow-off class here and a blow-off class there, and now they can't play in the game. And I want to get to those students before it gets to that level is my thing. So yes, they would have to be in there. I talked to Mrs. Porter, who came up with some good ideas or good questions basically that I have to think about, like with Castle Learning. But we have computers over there. I can work with Lucinda on that. But the great thing is, if say Mrs. Porter or Mr. Wall was here on Tuesday with a student and the student asked some great questions, he now can direct them. He can say, you know, Mr. Pierce, could you come in and help them? Or this kid asked some really good questions. Or I need to get this kid a computer for Wednesday, Thursday after school. What avenue can we have? And it's only till 3:10, so you have a plethora of administrators around here that are willing to help, willing to be here to get these kids eligible. This is not just an athletic policy. I need to reiterate that this is all extracurricular activities. So this will be enforced for the musical, the chopper club, mock trial, any extracurricular activity that we offer, it is enforced for.
So then let's define the difference between that and co-curricular. So a concert is co-curricular because they get graded.
Co-curricular, they are required to be there because of grades.
Right.
So if a student who's in band is failing 2 classes, I can't say you can't go to your concert today because he needs to be at that concert to get his grade up. So that is, yes, that is completely different from co-curricular. So if it is required for a grade, then they must, they have to go to that. And the same would be enforced for the 2Us. They would still be out of the games if they have those 2Us. But if they want to practice that day, they have to go to that. If they don't want to practice that day, go to the musical, go to a sport, then they don't have to stay, but they're also not practicing that day.
So does, okay, this time, 2:25 to 3:10, does that interfere with practice time?
Yes.
Okay. So are they penalized for being here?
No.
From their
They will be
coach.
penalized for, as a coach, I get very mad at my athletes that are put on academic probation because the rule as it states right now is if you have the 2 U's, you can't go to practice anyways until you meet with the teacher. So most kids would be coming in at 3:15, and most of the coaches will sit there and say, you did lose practice time because of your grades. You need to get your grades up first and foremost before we focus on this. I mean, they're not going to have to corporate punishment, but I know I, as a coach, don't want any of my athletes on academic probation. So I, as my coach, can put in my stern voice and my stern
Well, I guess
playing
maybe
time.
that goes into a kid needs 5 practices. Just saying, I don't know what the rules are, but you need 5 practices before you can be in a game.
Correct.
Or, is that right?
No,
Okay.
it's 12.
Okay, so,
I get your point, though.
yeah, so they're late, 15 minutes, blah, 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 is that 15 minutes deducted from their practice time?
No, because our practices go above and beyond. The state says that you should have over 45 minutes at that certain task for it to count. Our practices are usually 2 to 2.5 hours, so it goes above and beyond that. What I found for most of my coaches is that we are not able to start right at 2:25. Gym time for the indoor sports. We have teachers at the elementary and GLP that can't get here at times, so they actually like this because they now know where their kids will be.
Okay.
If the teacher who's monitoring in the cafeteria is, for example, an English teacher, but math is a particular challenge, and the child has an opportunity to work with that math teacher, will they come into the cafeteria and sign in, or?
It will be up to the teacher, but the teacher could definitely pull that student
Okay.
and go work with it. I welcome that teacher staying after school on their own and taking whatever math kids are in there, but I'm also gonna say, if they wanna come down, and I do have some I'm not me, but we do have some great teachers here that if they see a couple of their students in here, I know they would be more than willing to come down and help them with that. So I think personally, in looking at this, I think we're only going to see it blossom into more, and more people really buying into it. The few people that I've talked to, coach-wise, really, really liked it. And then the teachers that were on board, they liked it too. We're not trying to punish anybody, we're trying to help them before they get to that ineligible part. And my thing was, I really wanted to help those kids we were missing.
And it's
We
not
were
meant to
missing those
supplant the
ones.
teacher staying after school to help them, but our current contract for teachers cannot mandate them to stay beyond 10 minutes. So this is to help those kids who might have situations where they don't have a teacher who chooses to stay.
And in my experience, many of the teachers are
do.
available after,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Especially
It's just
during this
trying to get
time
the
frame.
kids, it's getting the kids to ask the teacher.
Right.
Where now this is really the avenue that they don't have to ask, they have to be here, and then they'll ask. We're trying to take that portion out of it. Again, I don't want kids missing practice. I know myself for vocational kids, I've changed my practices and kind of moved it later. To me, to rush out of here at 2:25 is a very hard thing to do outside. So for me, this would be even better because now I wouldn't have to start practice till 3:15. And I knew where my kids were for 45 minutes and getting their homework done. Instead of Tim Hortons or sitting in a locker room or just walking the halls, not doing what they're supposed to do.
Because of technicalities in the learning lab, will the teacher that's teaching learning lab be actually getting credit for, how do I say it? Like teaching social studies or teaching?
That would be for me to answer for you, not for
Okay.
Marissa. Right, so can I answer it later and let Marissa keep going?
Sure.
Okay.
Okay. So this is what we're looking at. There is I want to go back to this, because Mike actually brought up a good question, Amy brought up a good question too. The students are put on the watch list every 5 weeks, so we'll have a handful of students on that watch list. The grades are updated every Friday with the S or the U. In the past, we used to have it carry over. If you got a U, for that week and say the teacher didn't log in the next week, that you would carry over. We found that wasn't fair to the student. So what we have is that grade is wiped out. Grades are closed, wiped out on Thursday. It's the teacher's responsibility to go in on Friday and put that S or the U. If the teacher doesn't update it, it's an automatic S for the student. And then, so this way the student isn't double punished. If there's ever a question of it, we do have some instances, and Mike brought it up last time, of is there ever a mistake? Yes, there's mistakes. It's usually, we'll have something on there about you notify your guidance counselor or your high school principal. I usually get notified, but I'm not really in charge of it. I'm just the spokesperson. So if they notify me, then I go to either guidance or over.
But it may not be sports either.
No, and that's where it's musical, it's that or something. So it's definitely, it's a lot, it's better for the kid by having the grades closed, wiped out, clean slate each week, because it doesn't carry over. You could have a teacher that maybe didn't log in for 3 weeks and that you stayed up there. And we don't want to double, triple punish them, so. Does that clarify? Okay. The program itself is going to be called Academic Enhancement Program, AEP. It'll be offered Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays after school, like I said, in the cafeteria. Mrs. Anzalone had a conversation with our union reps the other day, which was great. So they actually are on board with it. So we will have a teacher at a stipend rate. It will be a structured environment. I will have signs posted all over here. And its sole purpose is to allow students time and place to work on schoolwork as well as receive assistance. And like I said, it's mandated for those students with 1 or more U's that are on that watch list.
So it's required that they stay all 3 days?
Yes. The goal is, we believe that the change in the policy and the addition of AEP will decrease the amount of students that are academically ineligible, which will, we also hope that it will end up decreasing the amount of students that are on that watch list every 5 weeks. We believe that the AEP will follow along with Board of Education goal number 1 of raising the expectations for all of our students. And selfishly, I am striving to be a New York State School of Excellence within the sports realm, which is a very hard thing to earn, but I'm striving.
We need 3 more teams.
We went down this year. I need all our teams to be scholar athlete teams. It's a very prestigious award, but that is the driving force behind mine. So that's my presentation.
Questions for Marissa? So the responsibility of the board at the August 12th meeting would be to adopt or not the proposed changes to the Code of Conduct, which in this particular case is the academic eligibility. But secondly, I will also be bringing forward the position of the teacher that would be staying with the stipended amount. The amount right now that would be coming forward to you would match the intramural stipends. So it would be, if we had an intramural program running for 16 to 20 sessions and it went longer than that so that it became somewhere between 26 and 30 sessions, it would be a combined stipend that's already in the contract of about $1,000. So for about 30 sessions of 45 to 50 minutes would be about $1,071. We would run 3 equal sessions throughout the year. It might overlap with seasons, but it would be a fall, a winter, and a spring season of 28 to 30 sessions in each one. There'll also be a monitor, which would be Gail Krebs on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, Marissa.
She will be here Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday.
Her job would be more about the attendance, maybe reaching out to some of the teachers if she needed to, so that the actual teacher that's in here could be working with students. Mr. Cudahy brought up a very good point. It's quite possible that if it's a math question and it's an English teacher that takes the job, that they may not be able to help them with that question, but they certainly might be able to direct them on what they should do, who they should go see, or even just reach out to the teacher and just simply say, hey, Johnny had a question. Right now, we have more kids sitting on the floor in the hallways for 45 minutes, which is more of a problem to us than not.
How are you going to determine what teacher takes us?
They'll apply just like they apply for all the other activities. And then in this particular case, Jeff Cervoni, depending on Jeff Cervoni, Marissa, and Pat would all take a look at it if there was more than one person who applied for, let's say, the fall, and they would either interview or choose, depending on who's free and who could do what they needed to. It could be the same person that does 2 or 3 sessions. It could be 3 different people who do it. It could be somebody who coaches in the spring and wants to only do this in the fall or the winter. Okay. Any other questions? Okay, thank you. There's an addendum, right, Barb? Okay. Colin's coming, I think he was reading.
New business?
New business addendum, yeah.
Okay, I move that upon the recommendation of the superintendent, a motion is made to award the bid for 27 smart boards for use throughout the district to Presentation Concepts Corporation in the amount of $82,950.
Second. Discussion? How much money I thought we put more than 82.
You did. You had a original amount of money for technologies for kids. I think it was at 127.4 or something similar to that amount, but not every.
27.6.
Yes, because we took some out of that original amount, but not everything's coming to you at once.
Okay, so where's that?
So there's 2 mini labs as well, Lucinda said, that go in addition to this, and they've already been ordered.
This had to go out to RFP, which is a different process.
Because it's so much money, it has to go out for.
So what was the cost then of those 2 mini labs?
We threw in some of our budget money.
Oh, okay.
So we pulled.
So all that money's gone now?
We had about 17,000 budgeted in our budget already for smart boards through pre-existing requests. And then with the additional money you gave us, we expanded the boards across the district.
So all the money's gone now? Is all spent? Okay.
Yes.
Good questions, Mike.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed, abstentions, motion carries.
Move to adjourn?
Move to adjourn.
Second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed, abstentions, motion carries.
See you August 12th. Thank you very much for coming in so early. Thank you guys, too.